Here we are on the cusp of Super Bowl 59. Tomorrow, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs battle it out for football's ultimate prize. And for you folks in the Tri-City area, you can listen to that game on our new sports station, The Team, 1450 AM KNOT. The broadcast starts at noon and kickoff is at 4:30 p.m. And some of you may be thinking, like, why are you even putting this on the radio? Everyone's going to be watching it on TV. Au contraire, mon frère. Don't assume everyone will be near a TV when the big game is on, because there are going to be people who, well, they'll have to work Sunday who may not have access to a TV or some other kind of device. There may be people who are traveling during the game who have to turn on their car radio to listen. Some people, believe it or not, some people just don't have a TV. Some people may want to turn on the TV, mute the sound, and listen to the play-by-play on The Team, 1450 AM KNOT, with Kevin Harlan, a multiple-time National Sportscaster of the Year award winner, and Arizona Cardinals Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner. Yep, they'll be in the booth on Westwood 1, which will be how we bring it over the Team 1450 AM. So they'll be doing the play-by-play and the color commentary for the game. And hey, you know what? If you think that people may not do stuff like that, look, back when KYCA used to broadcast the World Series, I would do that. I would mute the Fox broadcast on TV, turn on the radio, because doing the play-by-play was the greatest play-by-play man who ever lived, the one and only, the legendary Vin Scully. So yes, folks, even in the age of the internet, radio is still relevant. Speaking of online, and I know I've been saying this quite a bit, but we are still working to get an online presence for the Team, 1450 AM KNOT. We still have to navigate our way around all the blackout rules and regional restrictions involving the pro and college games that we broadcast to get that set up. Now, as for the big game, you're probably asking, who am I picking to win? Well, if you're watching the live stream of this show, you can tell by my ball cap who I'm picking. The ball cap I actually picked up at one of our local convenience stores because I figure I need a new Eagles ball cap, and the darn thing was only like $15, which is probably a lot cheaper than if I got it on one of the NFL sites. But anyway, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles, they are who I am picking to win the Super Bowl. Then again, longtime listeners and people who know me know who I'm picking because they know I'm a lifelong Eagles fan. And, well, I'm sure there are some people out there going, well, you're only picking them because you're an Eagles fan and you're biased. Yeah? So? Also, look at this. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl, which means they are a legit, really, really good team. I mean, hey, one name. Saquon Barkley, 9th player ever to surpass 2,000 rushing yards in a season. Good luck stopping him, Kansas City. But along with Saquon, I really like the Eagles' secondary with guys like Darius Slay, which has to be one of the coolest names in all of sports, C.J. Gardner, Quinion Mitchell. Patrick Holmes, look, Patrick Holmes does a great job staying away from interceptions. I think the dude was only picked off like 11 times this season, during the regular season, I should say. But, against a really good secondary like the Eagles have, Patrick Mahomes, hey, all credit to him. Dude is a phenomenal quarterback. I think when all is said and done, he's going to go down in the pantheon as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever in NFL history. But against that secondary, I think Patrick Mahomes, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Now, some people may be asking, so John, what's the spread going to be for the Super Bowl? I don't know, and I don't care. This whole spread thing is ridiculous anyway. Besides, it's a math thing, and I suck at math. And also, now people are going to be asking, so what do you think the score is going to be for the Super Bowl? I don't know. I don't do predicting of scores. I'm sorry. You know what? The score, it could be 22-20. It could be 33-30. It could be 42-7. Who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. I'm just going to pick the Eagles to win it all and hope that it's a good game. and hope that the Super Bowl halftime show isn't as ridiculously overproduced as usual. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. What is it? What is it? It's Kendrick Lamar, the Super Bowl act this year. He's a rapper, right? I don't know. It's like, you know me. I'm a music snob. I mean, it's honestly, it's the same lame garbage every year. Rap, hip hop, pop, because the NFL apparently doesn't understand that other musical genres actually exist. In fact, I can't even remember really enjoyed a Super Bowl halftime show or got excited for anything on a Super Bowl halftime show. Maybe the last time I saw something on a Super Bowl halftime show that I thought was kind of cool, and you're probably not going to believe it when I say it. It was, I forget what Super Bowl it was. It was the one where Katy Perry was the halftime show. Yes, I said Katy Perry, but here's the reason why. When she entered the field, she came out on that big mock-up giant lion. I thought that was kind of cool, mainly because it reminded me of Voltron, Defender of the Universe. As for the rest of the show, it was just dreck because Katy Perry's music is all assembly line garbage anyway. But, I came up with this idea. I think I mentioned it on my show last year going into the Super Bowl on how to satisfy fans who aren't into this kind of music. And my suggestion is do rotating genres for the Super Bowl halftime show. One year, you have a pop singer. The next year, it's rock or metal. The next year, it's rap or hip hop. The next year, it's country, and then you rinse and repeat. And I think that would make a lot of people happy. Like somewhere around there, someone is going to get an act that they really like for the Super Bowl halftime show. And you know what? Maybe have like a wild card music act one year. I mean, can you imagine Lindsey Sterling doing a Super Bowl halftime show? That would be killer. And you know what? She actually did a halftime show for the Green Bay Packers a couple months ago. And also, I think she has like over 1 billion combined views on her YouTube music video. So it's not like Lindsey Sterling is completely unknown to the world. Speaking of music, using air quotes there for those of you listening on the radio. Now, is it me or has there not been as much obsessive coverage over Taylor Swift this year compared to last year when the sports media had to run 20 stories a day on her because she was dating Travis Kelce? Yeah, I mean, it got to the point last year where they do like, Taylor Swift has entered Arrowhead Stadium. Like, who cares? But I maybe it's me, but I just don't see that much mention of her this year in regards to the NFL and the Chiefs. So maybe the league and the mainstream sports media actually listened to the fans and realized when we tune into a game, we want to hear about the game and not some pop star who churns out uninspired assembly line dreck. To which the PC crowd would go, yeah, you're just intimidated by a strong, empowered, successful woman, Ree. Meanwhile, all I got to do to shut up those people is go through my playlist and go, let's see what I got on here. Oh, look at this. Nightwish, Epica, Within Temptation, The Warning, Hailstorm, Heart, Visions of Atlantis, Arch Enemy, Unleash the Archers, Lacuna Coil, Null Positive, Frozen Crown. Would you look at that? All of them have female singers. Well, regardless, I'm looking forward to a game with less Taylor Swift talk and more football talk. And hopefully referees not making dumb calls that favor the Chiefs. Yes, I actually went there. Anyway, folks, 928-541-1016. Number to call here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We're coming to a break here on our show. When we come back in the studio with me today, we have members of, yes, I got to say it before, I got to say it ahead of here. We have members of the Grand Canyon Region Champion Prescott Boys soccer team. We have their coach, Phil Reed. We have a couple of his players, too, Cole Schumann, Taylor Keppel. So we'll be talking to them. We'll be talking about their great run through region play. We're also going to be looking ahead to the postseason, which starts very soon for boys soccer here in Arizona. So we'll take a break, and we'll be back with more of the Tri-City Sports Roundup right after this. Welcome back to the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here, and in the studio with me, I have members of the Grand Canyon Region Champion Prescott boys soccer team. I've got Coach Phil Reed. I've got two of his players, Cole Schumann and Taylor Keppel. Guys, good morning, and thank you very much for being with us here in the studio.
Morning, John. Thank you for having us.
All right. And for those of you watching our live stream here, I just want to let you know if you see me, Coach Reed, or Cole and Taylor checking our phones during this show, the reason we're doing that is because we are waiting for the release of the brackets for the state play-in round for the 4A conference for boys soccer. So it's not like we're being rude and not paying attention to what everyone is saying. We're hoping that those brackets will come out during the course of this show. So that's why we're going to be checking our phones quite a bit here during the show. So just want to get that that little caveat in there. And Phil, well, speaking of Prescott boys soccer, again, when you look at the beginning of the season with this club, and you got off to a great start. You got a 2-0 win in overtime over Notre Dame Prep. After that, bit of a struggle for you guys, not a whole lot of wins. Then you start the new year with a couple blowout losses to Campo Verde and Salt Point Catholic. And next thing you know, you're rampaging through the entire Grand Canyon region, and you win the whole thing. So just take us through the course of this season and explain how the Badgers got to where a lot of people thought these guys aren't going to be getting a sniff of the postseason to now you're region champions.
You know, I just put it to the dedication of the boys. We started the season, and one of the things when you start a season, you know, everyone has to learn to play with each other, play for each other. So we went through that period of players knowing each other. We have two very good, capable captains. Cole Schumann, you know, is one of them, and has led the team, you know, in such a way that by the time we got to midseason, that's where you're seeing the results.
All right. And, Taylor, let me start with you. Again, you go through the first half of the season, and actually, you know, you look at some of these scores. I mean, what, a 2-1 overtime loss to Greenway, a 2-0 loss to ALA Gilbert North, 3-1 to Cactus Shadows. Losses, but it looked like you were still in the game. So even though you weren't getting the wins, did you guys feel confident that you're maybe like, you know, just that close from really turning the table?
Yeah, at the beginning of those games, you know, we went in with honestly confidence that we thought we were gonna win, just because, you know, we know how good of a team that we can be. Couple of tough, you know, calls and losses, really like stung, you know, it really hurt. So after that, we just kind of decided we're going to start putting in that work, and then it starts in practice, holding each other accountable. Us boys, you know, we all hold each other accountable. We all make sure each other are working hard. But, yeah, I have a lot of confidence in us, and our work rate just going into each game is really high.
Mm-hmm. And, Cole, at the start of the season, what was your impression of how the Prescott boys soccer team looked?
I knew that the season was going to be hard, but I also knew that we really had a lot of individual talent, and I think it was more so just kind of playing as a team where we struggled. And I think that might kind of relate to how we had a rough start at the beginning of the year, but as we went on, we all really got that chemistry, and like it just kind of meshed together, and we just started winning games.
Mm-hmm. And, Coach, I know that a couple times when we talked, you said that that non-region portion of the schedule, that was pretty tough. And you look at the last couple of games you had going into region play, you faced Campo Verde, who I think is 5A, if I'm not mistaken, and then Salt Point Catholic. Salt Point Catholic always puts out really good soccer teams, both boys and girls. And, I mean, you lost by a combined score of 14-0 to those two teams, but do you feel playing that level of talent, that caliber of talent, really helped you get ready for a really great run in the region?
I think it did. And, you know, sometimes when you look on scores on paper, right, you think it's really bad. But when you really looked at the game, both games, all right, we played really well. First 20 minutes, I mean, we held our own. But when you're talking about teams with significant depth of talent, significant depth of a roster itself, and especially early in the season when they got their rhythm going, when we were just getting ours, it was really tough. But I think that was a turning point for our team, understanding that, wait a minute, we can hold with these guys who are top of the league or in their area. And, you know, coming back to Grand Canyon, that's when that switch turned on for us.
Yeah. And of course, you look at some of the other games here. I mean, you look at the two flag schools. You beat Coconino 1-0. You tied with Flagstaff 0-0. It's kind of amazing that up in Flagstaff they put together really good soccer teams, both boys and girls. But when you had those two games against Coco and Flag, Taylor, did you feel that the results of those games really gave you confidence that hey, we do have a legit shot to be region champs?
Yeah, going into those games, we knew that it was going to be really hard, especially since Coco they had a really good record. They were a really good team in the region up until that point. So we knew it was not going to be easy. We knew Flagstaff was a good team. But yeah, we knew it was going to be hard. So,
and Cole, take us through that Flagstaff game. And again, obviously a win is always nice, but coming away with a 0-0 tie sounded like one heck of a battle there. So just take us through that game and what you guys did in order to, I guess, avoid the loss and at least get some kind of points there with a tie.
Yeah. So from the beginning, like even a few days before the game, we were all mentally preparing, and Coach talked to us. We had to be ready for the game before it even started, and we knew that we had to come out fighting. We knew that they were a strong team, and that we could also hold our own against them. And like you said, we were hoping for a win, but really it was just it felt like a dog fight. I mean, everyone was beat up after the game. Everyone was sore, tired. We all put our all into it, and it wasn't the result we wanted, but it was a result we were probably happy with.
Mm-hmm. And, Phil, your thoughts about the end of that Flagstaff game and the performance of your guys there. Again, you like to get the win, but still a 0-0 tie against, a pretty darn good Flag team.
Yeah, I think, I would probably put it up in there as one of the best games I've seen this season, right? Two very good tactical teams. And if you watch the game from end to end, it's one of those things where from the start of the game right till the last whistle, everybody was working at it. The work rate of both teams in terms of the players, nothing was given. I mean, nothing was let up. No player let up on anything at all. So it was one of those really good games. At the end, Mike, who's the coach of Flagstaff, came up to me and he says, he's like, Phil, I want to win, but I'm happy I got to see this game. Again, coming away with a tie, I think both teams really – the tie was the right result. Yes, everybody wants to win, but it was such a game, John. I mean, a good game. And it really set us up going into the remaining of the region games.
Speaking of those remaining region games, your last one took place this past Monday. You took on Bradshaw Mountain, got a 2-0 win over the Bears. And Taylor, so what do you think were some of the keys to getting that win over your rivals there?
Yeah, so going into the game, we honestly did not think the game was going to turn out how we wanted, just because, like Cole said earlier, we were really beat up from the past two games against both the Flag teams. Our keeper was out. We had to put a guy that has not played keeper for like 3 years in goal, and we just had a lot of beat up guys, but we knew it was going to be hard. We knew we were going to have to hold our own. We knew we were going to have to play really hard, play together, and I think the bond and just that work rate that we have is what a lot of teams don't have. So we went up 1-0 pretty early, and then shout out Rico, he hit an absolute banger goal to get us hyped, and then we just held our own from there.
Yeah, I believe it was Arthur Kernat who you had in goal in that Bradshaw game, right, Coach?
Yes. Arthur had been playing goalkeeper for some time before, but he's also a fantastic field player. So as Taylor said, going into the game, we had some other key players out, and we had to really adjust. But this is where the true character of the team, comes in. And if I could, talk about just pre-game, going into the game, we were sitting in the stands and, we just decided, okay, let's get on the bus and get our minds right, because we knew we had to go into the game with the mindset of winning. And, Arthur really, really stepped up. We talk about Rico Gutierrez scoring a goal from about 25, 30 yards out in top corner. KYCA DeVito. And again, I want to make sure we talk about that player. Very, very talented player. Just gave the Bradshaw defense no ends of trouble. He's just a handful, for defenders on the field. But we played very disciplined. Cole Schulman, again, he's in studio with us. The leader on the field, that leader behind, and his voice on the field was just a key part of the game. So that's, I think, how we made it happen.
Okay. Well, folks, in the studio with me today, I have Coach Phil Reed of the Grand Canyon Region Champion Prescott boys soccer team, along with a couple of his players, Cole Schumann and Taylor Keppel. And again, in case you're just joining us and you're wondering why a lot of us are checking our phones while we're in the middle of doing a show, we are awaiting the release of the brackets for the 4A Conference State play-in round for Prescott boys soccer. And I've probably refreshed the bracket page, I don't know, about 10 times or so, Coach. I think you've done it a lot more than I.
Yeah.
I think you've been refreshing it about every minute since we took the air here. But unfortunately, folks, don't have those brackets yet. Hopefully, we will have them before the show ends. So again, like I said, if you're wondering, how come everyone's got their eyes on the phone instead of each other while they're talking? Well, that's why. We want to wait. We want to see if we can get those brackets to you before the end of this show. Well, before we go to break, folks, as always, it's time to see who shined over the past 7 days as we present the Tri-City Sports Roundup 3 Stars of the Week. Starting with the ladies, our number 3 star is Addie Prisciandero of the Prescott basketball team. She posted 22 points in the Lady Badgers' 76-22 pounding of Mojave Tuesday. The number 2 star is Bella Apt of the Prescott basketball team. She garnered 23 points in the Lady Badgers' 71-40 drubbing of Lee Williams last Friday. And our number 1 star of the week is Mackenzie Durr of the Yavapai College softball team. She got 2 wins and 18 strikeouts at the Great Western Shootout last weekend and was also named the ACCAC Pitcher of the Week. Now, for the guys, our number 3 star is Uriah Tennett of the Prescott basketball team. He notched 28 points in the Badgers' 74-33 rout of Lee Williams last Friday. The number 2 star is Zane Gall of the Prescott basketball team. He posted 28 points in the Badgers' 94-44 rout of Coconino Tuesday. Then on Thursday, Gall amassed 26 points in Prescott's 68-44 win over Flagstaff. And our number 1 star of the week, hey, Coach Phil Reed was just talking about this guy. It's Casey DeVito of the Prescott soccer team. He recorded 8 goals. Yes, you heard that right. 8 goals in the Badgers' 9-1 drilling of Lee Williams Wednesday. Congratulations to our 3 stars of the week. Break time here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We will be back with more right after this. All right, we are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you this morning in the studio with me. I have members of the Grand Canyon Region Prescott boys soccer team. I've got Coach Phil Reed. I got two of his players, Cole Schumann and Taylor Keppel. And we're still keeping an eye on our phones, seeing if the AIA is going to release those state play-in brackets before the end of the show. And, Coach, during the break, we were just talking about the craziness of the PowerPoint system. And also we have to factor in, for the first time, boys soccer, they are doing an open division, like you've seen with basketball over the last couple of years, where teams from the 4A, 5A, and 6A will compete in that open division. Just tell us a little bit about this playoff format and where Prescott might fit in right now.
Yeah, this new playoff format, I think the vision behind it is to get all the best teams playing and playing all the way through. So I think, that's a good thing in getting players exposure and just, having the best teams there. Regards to us, the PowerPoints is usually one of those interesting, I would probably say new math, that they've done behind the scenes, right? But right now we're not inside of that open division. That's why we're kind of looking on our phones, trying to figure out, okay, where did we land in the rankings? But how that works is open division has 32 teams in there, and they're going to play about 3 to 4 rounds, I believe, in that open division. Now, those teams that are in the open division, if they lose, they actually go back to their regular division and play. So that's what's probably going to happen. So we're waiting to see how things shake out, where we are with our points, our power points, and then who we will then match up against. If we're in the open division, chances are we're going to match up against a 6A team again, something like a Campo Verde or a KOFA. We may end up, seeing KOFA. If we remain in our division, we'll probably be a high seed, and then we'll be playing some other team like Amphitheater, a lower division or a lower seeded team.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I dig what you mean about those PowerPoints. And like I keep saying, with my limited to really cruddy math skills, don't even ask me to try to explain it. That's I can't even figure out the whole spread system in football, so don't even get me started on this. Well, anyway, folks, as we always do, we have local athletes in the studio. We got to find out some info on their teammates. So let's get to our lightning round segment here, which I gave Cole and Taylor a bit of a brief on, so they're not coming in here, well, completely blind. So, Taylor, I'm going to start with you. Now, who on Prescott would you say is the best-dressed player? Who is the man you could probably dedicate Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top to?
There's a lot of well-dressed players. A lot of us kind of have the same kind of fashion style, but I think one guy I see every day at school, I'm just like, he has a good fit, would be Roman.
Roman DeWeese, okay.
I like Roman DeWeese's style. He's got good style, so.
Okay. Well, I'm sure his mother, who our listeners probably know, Coach Rosie DeWeese of Yavapai College Women's Soccer, I'm sure she'll be very pleased to hear that. All right, now, Cole, who would you say is probably the funniest guy on the team? Who would be the team comedian?
Oh, hands down, it'd be Arthur Kernat. He's just always got something to say. He's always just cracking jokes, making everyone laugh. Just always good vibes with him.
Okay, now Taylor, on the opposite end, who would you say is probably the most serious guy on the team?
I'm gonna give that one to Casey DeVito. He's always serious. You never know what's going on in his head, but if I didn't know him, I would think that he hates me.
Oh man, that's serious, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, now Cole, who would you say is probably the most talkative guy on the team? The kind of guy who, if I had to do an interview with, I'd be like, I'm going to be here all day. This guy talks so much.
Probably Arthur Kernat again.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's just, all the time he's always talking. I got a few classes with him, and when he's gone, it's just, like, quiet. And when he's there, it's just like he's talking your ear off.
So basically, like, a class could be, like, say, it goes a 35-minute class, or maybe be, like, 15 minutes of Arthur talking about whatever, right?
Oh, it'd probably be 20 minutes of him talking.
Well, it takes a load off the teacher, I'll say that. Okay, now, Taylor, on the opposite end, who would you say is probably the quietest guy on the team? The guy who, if I interviewed, I'd probably have maybe like a 2-second soundbite with him.
I'm probably gonna say Michael Reed. He's a shy little guy.
Okay. And finally, Cole, Who would you say is the one player on Prescott who could eat the most in one sitting?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. I might have to go with my boy 50, Johan Munoz. I mean, I don't know. We love him, but he's always got some food on him.
Okay, well, we may have a bit of a disagreement here because, Coach, when I asked that question, you were pointing over here to Taylor.
Yeah, man. I mean, when we have those team dinners, I see Taylor with a full plate. Taylor has a full plate all the time. So, I'd probably say my pick would be Taylor.
Okay, Taylor, I'm going to ask, do you accept that or do you dispute that?
I would probably accept it, just because when I eat. You know, everything I do is above average. So
well, especially if it's a team dinner, man, because that's like free food there. It's like I was like, I'm going to load up my plate. I don't have to pay for any of this. Oh man. So Coach, getting back to you here now. I mean, you've been around the Tri-City area for a while, coaching soccer. You actually used to be Bradshaw's coach for several years before moving on to Prescott. So just talk about what got you interested in soccer and what made you want to become a coach here in the Tri-City area.
Yeah, I've been playing soccer all my life. Actually, I'm from a very, very young age. I'm a native of Jamaica, and that's one of the main sports we play there. So, I've been playing since, as far back as I can remember. And, for us, back then, that was probably the only thing you could play, right? Because there was nothing else, right? You had a ball and everybody went outside and you just played. So that's what got me into soccer. What got me into coaching is, I had a coach who, when I was younger, and could not get to the fields or could not get to soccer practice, he would drive miles to come and pick us up and take us to soccer practice. And so for me, going into coaching, I wanted to do something similar to give back to a sport that has given me a lot. It's given me a scholarship, it's given me an education, given me a career. Now I'm able to give back in that way. Not only coaching high school, but recently, I'm now coaching or teaching at the U.S. soccer level, teaching the U.S. soccer C licenses. So, soccer has been, an instrumental part of my life, and it's giving back is what I'd like to do with it in this kind of way.
Yeah, and I guess the next question is, again, saying you're a native of Jamaica, and probably a lot of people are wondering, how did you get from Jamaica all the way to the mountains of Prescott Valley area?
It's funny. It's funny you asked that. Someone asked me that yesterday. I was on a flight home and we were talking about it. And I said to them, Prescott, sometimes seems like Jamaica, and they're like, "What? You're crazy," right? But everyone knows everyone, right? And it's very friendly. It's very warm. The big differences, I would say, is back home there's music all the time. The food is really, really tasty, really lovely. But the hometown feel, the feeling of community, that's what Prescott gives. And when we got here, I immediately just felt at home, and I was like, okay, this is the place.
All right. And so Taylor, so for you, what got you interested in playing soccer?
So I played soccer when I was really young. My family has always, played soccer. We've always watched soccer. Growing up, I would play FIFA with my cousins, but so I played soccer until I was about 10, and then I stopped playing to play baseball, to play travel baseball, and then freshman year I decided, why not? I'll try it out again. So I was on JV my freshman year, and I had a lot of fun with it, so I stuck with it, and then I just started dedicating myself to the game, and
Okay. So Cole, what for you? What got you interested in playing soccer?
I started probably when I was around 7 or 8, and it actually wasn't my choice. My parents forced me to play because they needed to get me active. I was gaining a little weight, but ever since then, I fell in love with it. I joined I think it's one of the only club teams in Prescott. I was with them for a while, and then right before high school started, I switched to a club team in Anthem, Phoenix Rising North Valley. And there, the level's just so high, and that's really just elevated my play. And elevated my love for the game as well.
And of course, the big thing is when it comes to soccer at the 4A level, it's a winter sport, and of course up here in sometimes it doesn't feel like it up here in northern Arizona this year, but we actually do have winter, unlike in Phoenix and Tucson. So Taylor, going into high school, realize that you're going to have to play soccer in the winter. What was your mindset going? Geez, most of these games I'm going to be freezing my what off.
At first I was kind of, I was like, soccer is a winter sport. That's kind of interesting. Like most other schools, that like are not like 4A, they do it in like the spring or something, But honestly, I thought it was gonna be worse than it is. I'm actually not too mad about it because while you're running around out there, just put on an undershirt, some gloves, you start to sweat a little, even though it's cold. So I like it a little bit.
Okay, so Cole, let me ask you this, since again, you guys play soccer in the wintertime. So what was probably the worst weather condition you ever played in for Prescott?
Oh, I don't remember exactly what game it was. It was last year though, and we were playing I think it was right after it had snowed and the sun was out, so it started to turn a little bit slushy, and it was just horrible. I mean, you'd kick the ball and it rolled 5 feet and it'd stop, and the snow was just getting all over your cleats. My feet were soaking wet. My hands were freezing. I just didn't even want to play. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. And, of course, Phil, being from Jamaica, well, they probably don't know what winter is in Jamaica, I would imagine. So what's it like for you when you got up here and you started coaching these guys, playing soccer in December and January?
Listen, man, I turned my temperature to 96 degrees in my house, man. That's what I do. That's what I do to calibrate things, right? I'm outside and my toes are like icicles. Sometimes the ball is so hard, right? You worry about the safety of the players, right? But, you immediately try to cool off, try to warm up, I should say. Try to warm up as I get into my house. But it's interesting, I'd say, in terms of having it in the winter, especially for us, right? There's a few games that becomes difficult. But then we have the other half of our season where we're traveling, right? So now we travel down to the valley, and then the weather there is really nice because now it's not warm, not hot, too hot, Phoenix, and it's really nice to play down there.
Yeah, and Taylor, I imagine that you probably have a little joy when you see the Phoenix teams have to come up here in say December and play. So what are your thoughts when you look at these Phoenix teams across the field and go, oh boy, I wonder what they think of this nice chilly weather here tonight?
Yeah, so I play on a club team when I'm not in high school season over in Phoenix, and it is so hot. It's just it's so draining, and so I assume when they come here, we got our short sleeves on. They all got their long sleeves on, they're cold. So I think it gives us a little bit of an advantage in a way.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, folks, we're coming up toward the end of our show, and Coach, unfortunately, we've been checking our phones throughout the entire show, and the brackets for the open division here for 4A or the brackets for the 4A conference state play-in round still blank.
I know, man. I know the anticipation, man. The anticipation, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good tournament for us anyway. I think Taylor and Cole has said it. The mindset of the players, is one of we're in it to win it. And so they're going to work hard to whichever team we face to get the result we want.
Yeah. And, well, not only Prescott boys, but also Prescott girls soccer also claimed the region championship. And, Coach, I can't remember the last time we had both boys and girls soccer at Prescott as region champions the same year.
Yeah, we both did it back in 2019, right? So we both did it back in 2019. I believe we also did it again in 2020. As a pair. So this is good to have both soccer teams, doing it again here in 24-25.
Yeah. And of course, along with boys and girls soccer for Prescott boys basketball, I think they also have a lock on the region championship the way they're playing. They only have 2 games left. We will have 3 Prescott teams in the winter be region champions. I think the girls basketball team might be out of it because of the loss to Flagstaff, but still, girls basketball at Prescott. I think they're still going to have a really good run in the postseason. And also, speaking of Prescott winter sports, today actually is the section tournament for girls wrestling. Prescott will be involved in that. Next weekend, it's going to be section tournament for boys wrestling. And I'm sure Prescott's got a couple of guys who are going to make a lot of noise there. Well, folks, coming up to the end of the show, I want to thank Coach Reed and I want to thank Taylor Keppel and Cole Schumann for joining us here from the Prescott boys soccer team, the Grand Canyon Region champions. Guys, thank you very much and best of luck in your run through the state tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right. And remember, folks, tomorrow, starting at noon on our sports station, The Team, 1450 AM KNOT, Super Bowl 59, the Philadelphia Eagles against the team with that guy who's dating that pop star. Yeah. Can you tell how biased I am? No, I don't care. Anyway, folks, enjoy your weekend. Go Eagles, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.